What's up, you guys? Venture Warrior here, doing another toy review slash uh, action figure video. If you see the thumbnail or the title, then as always, you know what we're looking at. So this is a pretty cool collectible I managed to pick up. These are figures that you've already seen. Like I've done like 3 different videos. I'm thinking of deleting the first two because, like I said, I don't own those figures anymore. And like I said, I just feels kind of silly to kind of just uh, make another video talking about the same figures. But like I said, we're adding something different to this particular video, since we'll be also be focusing on an upgrade kit that I bought to go alongside with these vintage Transformer toys. Um, but yes, without further ado, let's get into it. So we are looking at the G1 Constructicons. Like I said, I've done a couple videos about these guys. Luckily, I was able to get mine in relatively decent shape. This was kind of an impulse buy, honestly, because like I said, I already had the G2 version, but I had them for so long. I had them for a while, like maybe like a couple years maybe, and I realized like, yeah, I like the green ones more than the G2. And I personally just kind of prefer having one version of the figures in my collection. Um, with the exception, like there's like a knockoff of the G2 Orange Devastator, which I really do like. The orange and purple does look really cool, but I was like, I think I'm kind of content with the original figures. So I bought them some new stickers, which the stickers haven't arrived yet. Like I said, luckily they had all their accessories. Like I said, I got them for a good deal. It was a little pricey. I had like a coupon that I used to get them, so that always helps out. Um, but yeah, here they all are. So like I said, for the most part, they're all in good condition. Like I said, these figures are going on 40 years old. Like I said, I've already done a review talking about them. Like I said, robot modes are good. Um, I'd probably say the weakest one is probably Scavenger. I think I think that was named Scavenger. Um, just because he looks like a ignore my watch. He just kind of looks like a brick. Like I say, he looks like a brick. He's still very charming, but he looks like a brick. My favorite is probably going to be Hook and Long Haul. Let me put them down. Yeah, Long Haul. I love Long Haul. Just a very fun, cool figure and character. Um, like I said, really charming. Is like his blocky aesthetic. And like I said, Hook. Hook is just a really fun figure. Mine has some markings underneath his feet and somewhere else on his body. Um, which, yeah, somewhere else, I think. Um, so I'm gonna have to see if there's a way for me to clean that off without damaging the plastic. Like I said, Hook, I really love Hook. I love his character in the show. I love his voice. Uh, his voice actor did a really good job. Just a really cool figure. His head's a little loose, but what are you gonna do? Like I said, these are vintage figures. Um, like I said, we have Bone Crusher, and Mixmaster. Um, yeah, he has a little firing gimmick. So again, really love these guys. They're really cool. Unfortunately, my Bone Crusher, he's kind of what's the word? Lopsided? Is that the word? I'm not sure. But he doesn't really stand the best. Like he can stand, but kind of crooked. So again, unfortunate, but like I said, it's probably the last time I pick these guys up. Most likely, I don't really see a reason to buy another version of them. I do like I do like the Tonkinator uh, novelty toy that came out some years ago. But again, that uses the same quality of plastic as the Walmart reissue, and I did a video about that. I did not like the Walmart reissue. I thought the plastic quality was very cheap compared to these. These feel a lot more solid and all that stuff, more durable. So like I said, here is Scavenger, and here is our leader, Scrapper. So like I said, when those stickers arrive, I will apply the stickers. I might even remove some of these older stickers, which I did with the G2 set. I removed the old stickers and applied all the new ones. Wasn't that bad. It was, fun little thing to do. Um, So yeah, so those are our 6 Constructicons. Um, here are all their pieces. And like I said, due to the time crunch, I see I have 54 minutes to do the video because I don't know how long it's going to be. I'll show you the Devastator head, and they all stay together. The combiner mode stays together pretty nicely. So, like I said, it's a bag of all the extra pieces. I'm not going to bother showing everything. Um, like I said, I still have the G2 set in my possession. Ooh, hopefully, sometimes when it comes to selling figures, collectibles, sometimes it's a waiting game. So I'm sure someone will probably pick that set up at some point. Like I said, I have the Crazy Debbie upgrade set that went along with it. So yeah, I'm selling that for a really good deal right now. I think I'm asking for like $100. It's like $10 off on Macari. So hopefully someone comes along and purchases that set. So like I said, due to the time crunch, I'm not going to bother to show them with the G2 versions. I'm not going to bother to show Devastator. Like I said, G1, G2 Devastator combined. I'm just going to really focus on doing the focus on the upgrade set. So without further ado, let's check out the upgrade set. Yes, so we're going to be looking at the Xtransbots Xtransbots Warrior. I don't know what the proper name was. This is really cool, and this is a 10 plus year old upgrade kit. And you're probably thinking like, well, you already had the Crazy Debbie version. Why bother to get this? Well, the Crazy Debbie one was cool, but I kind of like the aesthetic more of this one, if that makes sense. And it comes with, at least with this, it comes with everything. The Crazy Debbie version, you have to buy everything separately, which I'm sure was on purpose to make you spend more money. I just like the way this one looks. Now, unfortunately, Crazy Debbie one, which I'll get into, yeah, I'll save that when we open it up. I think these are the stats on the back. This is like a really cool piece of third-party Transformer merchandise because, like I said, this is 10 years old. These are very hard to come by now. Both this, the Junkyard Blacksmith, and the Crazy Debbie version. And I've owned all three now. Like I say, I've owned all three G1 uh, Devastator upgrade pieces. So, yeah. So it says includes one head, 2 forearms, 2 elbows, 2 fists, chest shield, cool, waist shield, abdomen, thighs, two thighs, 360-degree revolvable waist, so give him waist swivel, which is cool. One gun, one cement mixer, which I like. Giving, I guess that's show accurate, giving, where is he? Giving Mixmaster his purple drum. So I appreciate that. Bio card, instruction sheet, and poster, which I really like. I don't know. That would be cool. Maybe I'll hang the poster up. Maybe. So again, I think this was like 50, 40, 50 bucks when it came out back in the day. For both of these, for the figures and this upgrade kit, I spent an arm and a leg. I'm not gonna say how much I spent, but was the money well spent? Well, this is something I always wanted. Again, when these figures came out, I wasn't alive, and when the set came out, I was like, 10 years old. I wasn't, and nor did I have an interest in owning these figures or anything at that point in time. So to get it all these years later, complete, brand new, I believe this is brand new. Um, I'm very grateful for that. Very, very grateful for that. Actually, so I mentioned, let's finally open it up. I mentioned that I joined trying to shake the box. I joined a Transformer Facebook group. I'm part of a handful of different Facebook groups. And this particular Facebook group focuses on buying and selling Transformer items. And you can also ask people like, hey, do you have this for sale? I know where I can find this item, whatever. And I posted about this set, and because there was a listing for it on eBay, but it was like really expensive and I want to pay that much money. And someone reached out, and they were like a third party Transformer collector. So they were, accustomed to buying third-party Transformer items online through online stores or whatever, and they told me about a website called Robo Toy Base, I believe. So it took a couple weeks. I think I bought it like earlier this month. It took about a month almost, which wasn't bad. I was tracking it the whole time. Here's the back. So, and like, oh, I forgot, the artwork is really cool. Artwork is really cool. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about this. It says looking for, I believe that's Megatron. Looking at Devastator. Strength 10, intelligence 4, speed 1, rank 6, courage 10, firepower 8, skill 4. So I like, again, that's a nice little detail. You know, the old figures, the old packaging used to do that. Oh, I forgot to read this part. Thinking and winning do not mix. Interesting. Like I said, foam insert, which again, of course, I'll be keeping all of this, of course, packaging and stuff. Of course, the box, again, very well. Of course, I won't show the front side, it has my address on it, but the box is very well secured. And here are the pieces. Dope. Now, I did mess with this prior to making this video, and well, I'll get into that when we showcase that item. So yeah, so this must be the instructions. And I believe Xtransbots is still around, and they're still making Transformer stuff. Of course, they don't make these type of items anymore, but they do make figures. I think they made their own Devastator G1 Constructicon figures. That's pretty cool. So yeah, so here's the card. Cool. See how it looks up against something. So again, the artwork is really nice. I really like this. Again, just a cool add-on. Okay. Here are the instructions. Again, which is pretty easy. Just looking at everything. Yeah. So here are the instructions. Like I said, it's pretty straightforward, and like I said, I've seen videos about how to do it. So, oh, well, I guess maybe this is pre-owned then, because all I see is the instruction booklet and the trading card. Or maybe I have to go back and look. Maybe the card is supposed to be the poster. I don't know. So, like I said, maybe this is pre-owned. I don't know. Yeah, let me look at the packaging. Yeah, so that is the instructions. Like I said, let me look at the packaging again. The bio card. Okay, so yeah, I guess that's yeah, I guess it's pre-owned because there is no poster. That's kind of a bummer, but of course the meat and the potatoes is the upgrade kit. So what do we have first? We have the Devastator head, which I like. Unfortunately, I was about to say one positive thing that the Crazy Devi version does is that the batteries are replaceable, which I had. Luckily, I had some batteries that were the right size already at home, and I was able to get the LED to work on the Crazy Devi head. This one, I opened it up, so I would assume the battery is replaceable, but the battery was like attached to like wires, the wires inside the head. And again, I'm assuming 10 years old, the battery must have died. So that's kind of unfortunate. So I don't know if there's any way for me to properly remove it. Because like I said, they're like attached to it. It's not like a battery you can just pull out and replace. That's kind of a bummer. But The head is nice. I like the head sculpt. I like the blocky head sculpt. I like the face. I like the visor. Um, Very nice. Very nice. One thing I'll say about the Junkion Blacksmith upgrade kit, you got two heads. One that was cartoon accurate, and the other one was, I guess, kind of supposed to represent how he looked as the action figure head design or whatever. And so this is already attached. So, oh, there we go. This is the piece that, the headpiece or whatever. And like I said, it can rotate. I'll give him some waist swivel. It's nice. That's cool. What else? Got the purple mixing drum, which again I appreciate. So let's see, make sure I do this right. If I remember correctly. There we go. So here is the mixing drum on the back of Mixmaster. So I could just put this back in here, or maybe I'll just put this little baggie with the other accessories. Yeah, so like again, really cool. And if you have an extra sticker, you can put a Decepticon logo on the mixing drum. Cool. His gun, which is nice, we painted, is big, and I think he can hold it with two hands if he poses in a certain way. The detail on it's nice, has a scope on it, dope. I love it. Really cool. Again, really cool, really nice. Bigger than the original gun, which I will show. Well, like I said, you know, for the time, I think you're getting your money's worth. I mean, you had 3 options as far as, you know, upgrade pieces. So here is the original gun, which Mixmaster can hold, which I really like. Mixmaster can hold the original gun. Yeah, big difference. Big difference. That's the gun, and I will show the wing piece he comes with, which looks really cool and more intimidating than the original toy. Cool. It's the wing piece, the chest piece. Here's his crotch piece, which, let's see, where's the original? The original crotch piece, you see the difference. So yeah, this one's posable. This one's posable because of the leg joints. Cool. That leaves us with the legs. And there was I think there's I don't know if they had it for sale at the time, but there was a version where the legs were gray. I'm not sure if that was supposed to represent like the show. I'm not sure what that was supposed to represent, but it was an option, which is cool. So the legs have, oh, okay, so I guess this is the right way. So legs, here are the legs. Like I said, they got some ratchet joints to them. They're a little bit more posable than the Crazy Debbie version. You know, so like I said, this isn't really like, this is just pretty much display, used for display. It's not really intended for you to like play with it. But again, I love, like, I can change them. Again, it adds to the playability. I can have them be their vehicle modes. I can have them be the individual robot modes. I can combine them into the original Devastator form. I can use the upgrade pieces. So I just like having the variety of display options with my Constructicons. Yeah, so here are the forearms. Yeah. And the hands are removable. I'm not sure if the drills would fit in there, but yeah. Hands are removable, fingers are posable, thumbs and stuff. I'm not really going to show that, but take my word for it. Like I said, the fists are removable, so let me see if you can do this. Oh, nah, not really, but alrighty. So, like I said, that is everything. And to save on time, I'm just gonna cut and show them, put them in their vehicle mode or their combined modes, and then I'll actually put them in Devastator mode on screen. So yeah, just sit tight. Okay, so they are all in their vehicle slash combiner modes. So let's finally get them complete. Here's the finale of the video, I guess. So yeah, so we put long haul right here. Make sure he's, like I said, I know these particular pieces were intended for a certain version, so depending on what version of these molds that you have, these pieces might not work. So keep that in mind if you decide to purchase these. Oh, trying to think. Okay, I think you put this piece on top. Oh, hang on. There we go. Yeah. So I don't want to break it, but I want to make sure it's on there properly. Yeah, it does look a little weird, incomplete like that. That piece. And of course we slide hook. Oh, make sure he's in there correctly. Like I said, I still need to clean these guys up. I haven't taken time to. You know, I fiddled with them a little bit, but yeah. There we go. So that's the first half. Cool. We can do the legs. Assuming, yeah, so put Scrapper, our leader, right there. And like I said, this does give him a little extra height, because by today's standards, I would consider these guys kind of like legend scale. So there they are. Back. Good. It hides Mixmaster's face. So that's good. It's okay. And some people said they think the quality on the Crazy Devi is a little bit better, but like I said, I like the visual aesthetic more of Xtransbots. The Junkyard Blacksmith one, again, that one was cool, but it's kind of stiff, and I really just, he was okay. I liked him for what he was, but you know, that one, yeah. So I guess we'll apply the hands. So let me lay this guy down real quick. Like I said, the waist is feels a little loose, but you know, we'll work with it, work with what we got. So yeah, like I said, for the most part, the joints, like the individual joints, so got scavenger on. Individual joints, like I said, the figures, they stay on there pretty nicely. So let's do hopefully Bone Crusher won't give me a hard time. Bone Crusher and the square peg. And make sure he's on there securely. Okay, so I got the arms on there securely. Almost there. Like a mixed mash of construction vehicles. Yeah, almost there. So then we can add the, excuse me, add the crotch piece, which plugs in. I can get it to plug in. There we go. Like I said, these pieces are movable, these side pieces. So almost there. And we apply the hands. Ooh. So hopefully there's enough space. Apply the hands. Ooh. That's one hand. Hang on. Make sure this is on there correctly. Doesn't look like there's enough clearance for that hand to go in there. Okay, well. Let's see. Yeah. All right. I guess I'll figure it out later. I might have to swap the arms. Well, the forearms. Just have to see. Got the arms on. And then we apply chest, the wing piece. Hang on. Oh boy. Okay, so during that whole experience, he did not fall apart, which is a good sign. Like, so I'm not sure about the arms though. So I'll have to fiddle with the arms, but last but not least, his weapon, which kind of got a finagle into his hand. So, yeah. So, like I said, here he is. Finally put together. Looks a little wonky. Again, this was 10 years ago. But I like him. Like I said, kind of has that gap right there. That's supposed to give him the waist swivel. So again, kind of wonky, kind of funky looking. Like I said, depending on who you ask, I guess he does look a little dated. But like I said, I just liked him. I like the aesthetic of this one. Like I said, I do think the Crazy Debbie one may be a little better quality, but I like the visual aesthetic of the Xtransbot figure. And let's see if he can stand. Oh, something fell out. Oh, it's a battery. So I guess 2 batteries are supposed to fit in there. I don't know. I know there's another battery in there. I guess I'll have to fiddle. I'll fiddle with that later. Maybe I'll do an update, showing if I got the LED to work. But yeah, like I said, let's see. I wanted to do. Let's show him standing up. Let's see if this works. So like, move my phone back a little bit. Yeah, so like I said, he can stand. It's just a little funky. Yeah. So it'll take some finagling. It'll take some finagling. But yeah, take some finagling, but you can get him to stand. Probably like stand up against like on a shelf. Don't have him stand somewhere where he could fall over and fall apart. But like I said, he's cool for what he is. Like I said, I like him for what he is. Very charming. Like I said, I just like the aesthetic of this one more than the Crazy Debbie version. Like I said, I have to fiddle with the hands. Oh, well, dropped his gun. Yeah, and like I said, not going to bother to do a size comparison, didn't bother to pull any of my other figures out. Like I said, I haven't even pulled out my G1 KO Stunticons that I have. Again, another combiner that I really like. Of course, he's taller than Minosaur, but yeah, like I said, he's cool. And like I said, it's just personal preference, what you prefer. Like I said, there's so many versions of the Constructicons now compared to when this set was released, so you don't have to get this version. There's plenty of other versions. Like I said, there's the new Studio Series 1, there's the Combiner War 1, there's like, the Creo figures, and of course the Bayverse one, and like there's plenty of versions. And I'm sure the average collector person is probably not going to go out of their way like I did to buy this set. But it exists if you want it. It's out there. So like I said, I think that's it for this video. Like I said, I like them. I'm, happy with the end results. Once I have to fiddle with its arms a little bit. Yeah, I like them. Like I said, I'm happy with the end result. Excuse me. Like I said, as far as next videos go, I'm trying to think. I want to do a follow-up to my Army experience. I recently uploaded part 2. I kind of talked about some shenanigans that took place while I was there. And again, after I made the video, I'm like, oh, I forgot to talk about this. Oh, I forgot to talk about that. I'm like, there's so many things I forgot to talk about. So I'm going to touch bases on if you, I think I talked about what happens if you're recycled. So I'm going to touch bases on if, the experience being a holdover or chapter, and what your day-to-day will look like as, in that situation. There's another funny story I forgot to mention, another funny experience I had. Yeah, there's some other stuff I forgot to talk about. So I'll save that for a part 3. As far as figure reviews go, like I said, I have some other vintage 80s figures I'm gonna talk about. I think one of them is out for delivery today, which I'm happy about, so look forward to that. Like I said, maybe a couple more, retro figures coming. We'll see, because there's another 80s figure from another toy line similar to Transformers that I'm like, I've been wanting that character for a while. He's pretty inexpensive. I might grab him. We'll see how I feel. But like I said, that's it for this video. Like I said, if you're interested, recommend them. Cool. If not, there's plenty of other representations of the Constructicons out there. There's plenty of third-party representations, like the Studio Series, which I would really like to get the 86 movie version or whatever, the most recent Devastator that Hasbro made. I would like to get that version at some point, but again, expensive. So, like I said, like, comment, share, follow, subscribe, and stay tuned for more. Peace, you guys.